What is workers' compensation insurance? Workers' compensation insurance protects your employees for injuries during the course and scope of employment, and it protects your business from related lawsuits. The workers' compensation system was established in the United States over 100 years ago to provide a means for injured workers to receive appropriate care and treatment for job-related injuries or illnesses without having to incur the risk or expense of bringing a lawsuit against their employer. Workers' compensation insurance assures prompt payment to that injured worker without regard to fault. It's a true no-fault system. That's the intent. Workers' compensation is the exclusive remedy for that injured worker's expenses relative to those workplace injuries. And in exchange for that, the worker may not sue to recover cost. So the system was intended to benefit both injured workers and business owners. Workers' compensation insurance is different from other lines of coverage like auto and property insurance. Insurances of that nature. What makes workers' compensation insurance different? Well, it's the scope of coverage. A workers' compensation policy covers the business owner's obligation to the injured worker under state law, and those laws vary from state to state. The workers' compensation system is state-specific, but again, the intent of workers' compensation is to be no-fault coverage if the injury or illness is arising out of or in the course of that employee's job. In turn, the workers' compensation policy will cover it. And what is that coverage? The standard work comp insurance policy has two primary parts pertaining to coverage, Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 addresses employee benefits. The first benefit is the medical care, both the immediate emergency treatment at the point of trauma being sustained and also additional ongoing care that might be required. There are no exclusions to this coverage. If the state work comp board says it's a work-related injury, then the policy pays. Part 1 pays 100% of all medical treatment for injuries arising from work accidents. There's no deductible and no policy limits. This is primarily why workers' comp insurance can be so expensive. Even a small business with a few employees could run up millions in claims. The second employee benefit of Part 1 is indemnity benefits. If an employee cannot work for more than 3 days as a result of their workplace accident, the work comp policy will pay 2/3 of that employee's average weekly wage during the time that employee is unable to work as determined by the treating doctor. Part 2 of the policy provides employers' liability coverage. Part 2 protects the employer in the event that an employee refuses benefits under Part 1. The employee may choose to sue their employer instead. In turn, Part 2 protects the business owner from civil lawsuits. If an employee accepts benefits under Part 1 of the work comp policy, that employee waives their right to sue the employer for damages related to their injury or illness. Part 2 has policy limits, and those limits vary in each state. If you have questions about workers' compensation insurance or need a quote, please call a licensed WorkCompQuotes.com broker at 1-800-860-9467 or submit your inquiry to info@WorkCompQuotes.com.